You are in the lobby.
Mr.
So, yes,
There was a quiz yesterday.
yesterday
Yes,
it
I saw.
was, yes, the the second quiz. You missed it?
Okay, I logged in at 11 p.m. and I didn't see it. It
No, it's
disappeared.
9. It's 9
Mm.
p.m. The deadline was at 9. What's your name?
Abdurrahman Ahmed Hamdi.
Who else didn't take it, guys? So I will publish the retake by Friday at 10 p.m. Okay?
Okay, thank you,
Rahman
Mr.
Ahmed. Okay, the scientific revolution, guys.
Okay, Mr. There is two Abdurrahman Ahmed. I am Abdurrahman Ahmed Hamdi.
Thank you for telling me that.
Okay,
Abdurrahman Ahmed Hamdi?
yes.
Okay. Okay, Abdurrahman. The scientific revolution, guys. Here is it. Let me show you. Of course, after they discovered the newfound land, guys, everything changed in the world. And by everything, I mean their way of thinking. They started to adopt a new way of thinking. But before telling you that, let me tell you about their way of thinking. Before the exploration time, they used the traditional way of thinking. What do I mean by a traditional way of thinking? I mean that if they want to find any piece of information, okay, if they are seeking knowledge, of course, nowadays is easy. Nowadays, you can simply Google anything you need. But earlier, they had only two sources for knowledge: the church and the ancient scholars' writing. By the ancient scholars, guys, I mean philosophers, ancient philosophers, their writings, Aristotle, Plato, Ptolemy, and so on. One of the very famous ancient theories about the structure of the universe. Okay, have a look here. They used to think that the earth was the center of the universe. Okay, and this information, by the way, they used to teach the kids in schools this science that God had created Earth and honored it, so all the other planets are simply revolving around the Earth. For their knowledge, they were only 5 planets, and they considered Sun is one of the planets too. So this theory was adopted by Aristotle. Okay, he proposed that the planets and the moons were attached and rotated at different velocities around the Earth. Also, there was another strange theory, the atomic one, which was published by Democritus. Okay, Democritus said that all the elements in the world consist of invisible particles, like the atoms. Okay, but Aristotle said all the atoms or all the elements in the whole world consist mainly of 4 elements: fire, water, air, and earth. Okay? By the way, these are only examples about what do they use to think, the traditional way of thinking. By the way, the earth was the center of the universe. They call it the geocentric theory. But after they had discovered the new land over there, the Americas, they have seen new people and new animals, new plants they had no idea about. It was not mentioned in their writings. So they started to think maybe we are using the wrong way of thinking. Why it's not mentioned in our books that there is another ocean we should pass and we're gonna find a lot of people over there and they had strange planets and strange animals over there? Why they didn't mention it? Because simply they had no idea about them. So they started to think, we are using the wrong way of thinking. So let's start to think in a new way. In fact, two scientists, or at their time, they were philosophers. Their name were Francis Bacon and René Descartes. Both of them invented the scientific way of thinking. And they said, everything we know is wrong until proven right. And there is a famous quote about René Descartes. He said, I doubt everything. I doubt my own body. Okay? So everything is a subject to be tested. And they invented the scientific way of thinking. Of course, you are familiar nowadays with the scientific way of thinking. Of course, you saw it a lot at the back cover of your science textbooks. We are still using the scientific way of thinking until now. So they
Yes, sir.
used them. Yes.
Sorry, I missed the quiz yesterday also. I didn't
What's
get
your
the I didn't get a notification.
What's your name, my friend?
محمد أحمد عبد الحميد.
Ahmad Ahmed Abdul Hamid.
Yes.
Okay, you will have it on Friday at 10 p.m. Wait
Thank you.
for it. So the guys, they started to use their mind. They started to use
معلش بس
reason.
Mr. I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
First quiz you will put it on Saturday or
At Friday, all the retake of the quizzes will be on Friday. Okay, and it's gonna last for 24 hours. So you have Saturday and Friday. Unfortunately, if you missed the two quizzes, this is gonna mean that in the weekend you're gonna take or retake the two quizzes. Okay. So guys, they started to use reason. Okay. Before the exploration time, they used the traditional way of thinking, the ancient scholars' writings or the church. Okay. By the ancient scholars, I mean the Roman and the Greek philosophers like Aristotle, Plato, and so on. The example of the traditional thinking was the geocentric theory. Geo, guys, means Earth, as a reminder, in order not to mix them together, in order not to misuse them or misplace them. Geo means Earth. Helio means sun. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, يعني بس محمد ضياء is saying he's in the lobby. Can't get in.
I didn't hear a notification. Let me see. Yes, thank you for telling me that. I didn't notice that he is waiting. Okay. Geo means Earth and Helio means Sun. So they used to think that the Earth was the center of the universe. Okay. Then later on, they had developed a theory that the Sun, the center of the universe. Then after they discovered the new land, they started to develop the scientific way of thinking. Okay, it's based on reason. And who thought about this scientific way of thinking, guys? Keep it in your mind. Francis Bacon and René Descartes. Both of them invented and developed the new way of thinking, the scientific one. It was based on reason. And it consists of 5 steps. To identify a problem, first of all, identify your problem. What's your subject? What do you want to study? Form a hypothesis. Form a possible solution for this problem. Test it. perform the experiments associated with your hypothesis, with your possible solution. Record the results, analyze it, and get a conclusion. If your conclusion is wrong, go to the first step. Identify your problem again. Until now, guys, do you have any problems? Any questions? Because we have a lot of details in this lesson.
بنسأل يعني احنا بناخد يعني هم كانوا بيفكروا ازاي في الساينس يعني ولا احنا بناخد ايه؟
No, it's not related to science. It's related to knowledge. If they want to answer any question in the world. Okay? We are talking about knowledge, information. Nowadays, of course, it's easy. If you want to know any piece of information, you can simply Google it. It's easy while sitting in your place. But back over there in the 16th century, of course, if they need any piece of information, they had only two sources, two ways to get knowledge: the church or the ancient scholars' writings. They will go to the ancient books, the writings of Aristotle, Plato, and so on, or they can simply follow the education of the church. Back at that time, keep in your mind that there was no such a thing called schools. If you want to have some knowledge, you should send your children to the church to be taught over there. So, the church or even the ancient scholars' writing, if you want to answer any question in the world. And they used to have it this way for a long time ago, from the very beginning. Then, after the age of discovery, they made a pause. They stopped and said, hey, we are using the wrong way of thinking. Why do you think they said that? Who's going to answer this question, guys? Why especially they stopped at this point of time to say that we are using the wrong way of thinking? Why especially at that time?
Because they saw new lands, new plants, new animals, and they thought they needed a new, better way of thinking, so they can
Exactly.
understand.
Thank you very much. Because they thought that they were using the correct way of thinking. But unfortunately, after knowing the fact that there are different people living over there in the Newfoundland land, even the Newfoundland land itself, it was not mentioned in their books. So they started to think, maybe we didn't get the complete knowledge. Maybe we are using the wrong way of thinking. And they started to develop in their minds, they started to develop a new way of thinking, a new system. Those who thought about inventing the scientific way of thinking were Francis Bacon and René Descartes. Both of these philosophers, they said everything we know is wrong until proven right. I doubt everything. I doubt my own body until proven right. So they said that all of these sources of knowledge are wrong. We gotta start from the very beginning. We will experiment every single item in our life in order to get the true knowledge. Okay, back at that time, it was familiar to have a philosopher to be majored in mathematics, to be majored in astronomy, and to be interested with space. So they do not have specialty at that time. They can simply be interested in lots of majors. Do you think they reached some achievements after using the scientific way of thinking?
Of course.
A lot. some of these achievements, we are still using them until now. Okay, and of course, some of their achievements were bullshit. Let's see. First of all, they were interested with space. Keep in your mind, guys, keep in your mind that the space until now is a mystery for us. Okay? Until now, with all of these advancements in technology and in tools, with advanced equipment, we still simply know nothing about the outer space. So they started to study the outer space. Okay? Copernicus, like your friend had said at the beginning of the lesson. Before telling you something about the outer space, how many planets we have in our modern world, according to our modern science?
هو أظن
Who's
8.
gonna tell me? 8?
Yes, I
8
think
planets?
8 or 9.
Sorry, Muhammad.
I think 8 or 9. يعني one
8
of them.
or 9? One of them.
It's
What do you
it
think,
depends
guys?
on it depends on Neptune.
It depends on what?
Pluto,
It's
Pluto.
Neptune.
8.
not Neptune.
8.
Pluto.
Pluto,
Neptune,
yes. Pluto.
Pluto,
And then moon.
and
If
the
you count
moon.
the moon as a planet, يعني.
The moon is a planet.
Oh, Mister,
If you count
there's disagreement between the number of planets because some people consider Pluto a dwarf planet or something like that.
Who
Planet
can say that this is a planet and this is not?
It depends on the size, mister.
Depends on the size. Okay, guys. Thamer.
في
Thamer.
elements في
Yes.
rules كده لازم
3.
البلانت يكون عنده علشان
Exactly.
يقولوا عليه بلانت.
Exactly. You are my hero. In fact, we have 3 conditions. 3 conditions. In order to use the term planet, we have 3 conditions.
orbit.
Let's have a look here. Let me show you. Here's, guys, our solar system. Okay? How many planets we have? 2, 4, 6, 8.
8. طيب.
Right? 8 planets. Wait. 8 planets. Okay? By the 1930s, they discovered Pluto. Recently, almost 90 years ago, discovered planet. Okay? Pluto. By 2006, the International Astronomical Union downgraded the status of Pluto to a dwarf planet. So he's not counted a planet anymore. They called it a dwarf planet. Why do you think they downgraded his status? Because in order, they said, the International Astronomical Union, they said, in order to use the term planet, they have 3 conditions must be filled or fulfilled. 3 conditions. Number 1, to orbit the sun. I think it's logical to have an orbit so you can simply revolve around the sun. Number 2, to have some stars around it. 3, nothing.
Moons, yeah, mister.
Sorry?
To have some moons around it.
Yes, some moons. Haven't I say moons or I said stars? Sorry. To have some moons around it. Sorry. Number 3 is simply nothing in its field. What do I mean by nothing in its neighborhood? For example, if Saturn will orbit the sun in this, through this orbit, okay? So this is gonna mean there is nothing here. There is nothing here like a comet or anything will simply interfere with his orbit, or even here. This is the third condition. Because this gonna mean that this planet has no gravity. And this is what the issue with Pluto. They said that there are some items in his orbit. So they downgraded his status because he had 2 conditions out of 3. Recently, 5 or 6 years ago in 2016, they discovered the 9th planet. Until now, they gave it the name of Planet 9. Until now. Of course, they didn't send anyone to discover this planet. They can simply see it through telescopes. Do you know how it's gonna take from the Earth to Planet 9? I'm talking about time here. In order to make it easier, if I wanted a spaceship, if I want to send a spaceship from Earth to Mars, how long it's gonna take? The nearest planet. I think nowadays they are studying Mars.
Maybe
hoping that
Mars
they're gonna
takes
find
maybe
some
3 months, I think.
3 months,
Yeah, more than a year, more than.
one
Yeah.
way or 2
Oh.
ways
Mr. To Mars, you mean?
to Mars. Yes.
7 months.
Maybe
7
around.
months. 7 months. So it's gonna be 2 ways or 1 way?
لا يا مستر أكيد one way. 2 ways.
1 way, 7 months. Okay,
Yes.
guys, in order to be accurate, the journey will take from the Earth to Mars and vice versa to go back to Earth. It will take almost 1.3 years. Okay, so the journey will be 1.3 years, or we can say almost 15 months. How long do you think that they can stay over there on Mars? Then they will go back to Earth. Of course, they have to stay for a while. It's gonna take them some time for the journey. But nowadays they are studying. I think there is SpaceX. There is a new company other than NASA. They are making some experiments about sending robots to stay over there. And these robots can be multiplied or subdivided from the themselves. It's a new issue about robotics. So regardless of this issue, nowadays they are studying to send some robots over there to study Mars. So 1.3 years, and this is the nearest planet. What do you think about Planet 9? How long it gonna take to reach it? Of course,
around 50 years or something.
it's gonna take some time, a lot of time. Okay, so we still know simply nothing about the new discovered planet.
Mr.
So nowadays,
Iris, a planet, but out the universe or what?
it's not a planet. It's simply, you can say, a star, a moon, and something we have no idea about it.
A celestial body. I think that's
Yes.
what they're called.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But I missed the term. So back to our slide. Okay, regardless of this issue. So the answer of the question,
Mr.
guys, nowadays we have
Planet
9 planets. Okay,
Sorry,
until now.
Why, Mr. 9? Didn't we say 8?
Okay, you didn't notice the last item, Planet 9. After they downgraded Pluto, they were 8 planets. Then they discovered a new one instead of Pluto.
Where
Planet
is
9. Planet 9. It's outside. They had no idea about it. The only known photo to it was this one.
طب يا مستر يعني صوروها من غير ما يعرفوها ازاي يعني؟
Telescopes. With the telescope. Sorry?
I didn't understand.
With the telescope. With the telescope.
أيوة, it's out the universe, right? Outside it يعني.
What do you mean by out of the universe?
مثلا ما هو في مش عارف they say many universes يعني ours
The
is the
universe,
I don't want
our galaxy,
أيوة
by the way, our galaxy, the Milky Way, is unlimited. And they estimated you need 50 million years to reach the edge of the Milky Way. Try to imagine the size of the universe. We have no idea. And they calculated, and of course it's not an accurate number, but they calculated the edge of the Milky Way by 50 million, not our normal years, 50 million light years. Do you know the light year? The speed of the light. The speed of the light per second. I think
هي سريعة أو
the speed of light they calculated. Let me try to remember. I think it's something related to threes.
3 times 10 to the power of 6, something like that.
Yes, they calculated. I think. Let me. I do not know the number. I can't remember the number right now, but I think 136 miles thousand kilometers per second. Leave it for now. It's not our issue. I'm just want to show you how many planets we have in our solar system. So in order to answer this question, guys, accurately, we have 9 planets. Okay, but keep in your mind that Pluto was a planet and they downgraded its status. Nowadays, we have planet 9. Maybe later on, after a couple of years, we're gonna find planet 10. Who knows? Okay, Copernicus. Copernicus said, okay, that the geocentric theory is wrong. What do I mean by the geocentric theory? The geocentric, remember this one. Let's go back. The geocentric, geo means earth. They said that God, after creating earth, he honored the earth and he made it the center of the universe. So all the planets are revolving around the earth. Okay? Copernicus said this theory is wrong. The sun is at the center of the universe, and all the other planets are simply revolving around the sun. But they are revolving in circles. How do you think he reached this conclusion? He was a mathematician, by the way. Okay, so he used to stay at the roof of his house, and he noticed and he recorded the position of the planets. Remember, keep in your mind that they can simply, by using their own eyesight, they can see the other planets back at that time, because there was no such a thing called pollution. There was no lot of city lights. There was no electricity at that time. They used candles. So they can easily see the planets, of course, with some lenses and some telescopes, they can see. But by using their own sights in a clear sky, they can see the planets. And he recorded at every single time. Of course, it took him years to reach this conclusion. Today, he's in this place. Tomorrow, he's in this place. So he got the conclusion that all of the planets are revolving around the sun. And by the way, he made the first model of the solar system to arrange the different planets together. In order to reach this model, he used physics, astronomy, and mathematics in order to reach this first model of the solar system. As I told you before, it was familiar at that time that the people were using or they were studying multiple sciences, not to be measured in only one. So his achievement, and here I'm talking about Copernicus, guys, his achievement that he invented the heliocentric theory. What do I mean by the heliocentric theory? That is the sun at the center of the universe. All the other planets are revolving around the sun. And he made the first model of the solar system by using physics, astronomy, and math. Is it clear? Any questions regarding the heliocentric theory? And the heliocentric is opposite to the geocentric. Geocentric, which was invented by Aristotle, the Earth of the universe. And it was wrong. Copernicus said the sun is at the center of the universe. Until now, guys, any questions? I guess no. Yusuf Ahmed. Yusuf.
Yes, mister.
What's the heliocentric theory?
Mister, can you say it again?
Heliocentric theory. What is it? I have no idea, mister. Right?
No, I don't know, mister.
Okay, Yusuf. I have just said what's the heliocentric theory. For example, let me tell you something. Maybe you didn't get it. Maybe you didn't hear me well. Maybe you were busy doing anything. Please ask me to repeat it. This is my job. This is my duty. Ask me to repeat it. There is no problem with this issue. I have said, if you have any question, ask me. Any problems until now? Nobody answered. Right? So why you didn't take advantage of your chance? And this will be for all of you guys. If you didn't get it, please ask me. Safe, what's the heliocentric theory? 17 مدحت. Safe. There is no safe Medhat, right? Safe Medhat Fathi. This will be your second call in this lesson. Where are you?
No, but maybe he wrote me in the morning that his internet maybe is lagging. So if he doesn't, maybe it's lagging now as well.
Okay, Omar Ashraf.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you are Omar. You were talking. Okay, Omar, what's the heliocentric? Do you have any idea?
Yes, sir. The sun is the center of the universe, and everything revolves around it in a circular orbit.
Pattern. Thank you. Muhammad Omar.
Yes.
Muhammad Omar, what's the geocentric theory? Geocentric theory, what is it?
والله I think in the Earth is the center, right?
Right.
عكس الهيليو دي.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So geo from the word Earth. Okay? Geography. Geo, the Earth is the center of the universe. Helio, the sun is the center of the universe. Okay? Of course, keep in your mind that after he achieved this conclusion, do you think that Copernicus will simply write his conclusion in a book and he will go to the public and he will say that I have reached a new conclusion. I have made a new theory. Listen to me, guys. You were using the wrong way of thinking. Listen to the new one.
This.
Of course. this is gonna mean you will be against the church. Who dares to be against the church?
They will
No
burn
one. Of course, they will kill him. They will burn him alive. So he was afraid until the last couple of years of his life. Okay? He published his book. After his death came Brahe and Kepler. Okay? Brahe and Kepler have made his theory and made it a subject for their experiments. Brahe and Kepler have made something astonishing. Listen to their theory, guys. Have a look at this diagram. Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. But the lesson is finished. 3 minutes.
Oh my God, it's over? Oh, I'm sorry, guys, for keeping you late.
This was made to please the church, right?
Please the church? What do you mean by please the church?
Because sir, the church believes that the sun orbits the earth.
Yes.
Copernicus was
Yeah, yes. Okay, sorry guys for keeping you late until we meet again